a silver-haired woman, her face etched with deep lines from years of laughter and worry, standing behind a checkout counter at the local Walmart. She scans groceries with hands that once cradled grandbabies. She's 68 years old, supposed to be sipping coffee on her porch, watching the world go by. Instead, she's forcing a smile through the ache in her feet, because retirement in America isn't what it used to be, or maybe it never was. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's the kind of woman you'd meet in small towns across the heartland. Think quiet suburbs in Ohio, or the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, where people wave from their pickup trucks and Friday nights buzz with high school football under the lights. Margaret grew up in a modest home, the daughter of a factory worker and a homemaker who stretched every dollar like it was the last one. She had big dreams, working nights at a diner to pay for community college, flipping burgers, and pouring coffee for truckers rolling through. That hard work paid off when she became a school teacher, spending over 40 years shaping young minds, teaching third graders history and math, and bandaging scraped knees along with big dreams. She married young, raised 2 kids, a son who's now a mechanic and a daughter who's a nurse down in Florida, and cherishes her 3 grandkids who fill her holidays with giggles and sticky hugs. Life wasn't always smooth. During the 1980s recession, her husband Tom lost his job at the auto plant. They scraped by, clipping coupons from the Sunday paper and stretching casseroles for days. But they held on with that American grit, believing hard work would see them through. Then, 5 years ago, Tom passed away from a sudden heart attack too soon, way too soon. It left a hole in her heart that nothing could fill, but Margaret kept going, because that's what you do. At 65, she retired with plans, tending her garden of tomatoes and zinnias, volunteering at the church soup kitchen, maybe finally taking that road trip to the Grand Canyon she'd always talked about with Tom. The golden years everyone promises, right? But reality hit like a cold Midwestern winter. Her Social Security check comes in at about $1,500 a month, well below the national average of around $1,976, barely enough to cover the basics in 2025, with prices climbing every day. Rent for her cozy 2-bedroom apartment in town jumped to $1,200 after the landlord raised rates. Groceries. A simple trip for milk, bread, and canned soup costs $100 now, thanks to inflation. Add $300 a month for arthritis and blood pressure meds, plus utilities to heat her home through harsh winters, and her budget crumbles. She dipped into her small savings, the nest egg from decades of work, but it disappeared faster than she expected. Soon, bills piled up, and that quiet, gnawing fear set in, keeping her awake at night, wondering if she'd lose it all. So at 68, Margaret did what so many seniors are doing. She went back to work. Not full-time, her body couldn't handle that, but part-time, 3 shifts a week at the neighborhood Walmart. It's not glamorous, but it's something. Her days start early with a pot of strong black coffee in her kitchen, the faded floral wallpaper a backdrop as the radio talks about a booming stock market that feels worlds away. She slips on her cushioned shoes, drives her old Buick down Main Street, past American flags on porches and kids waiting for the school bus, and steps into the store's fluorescent glow. Her morning shifts are quiet, the lights buzzing like lazy bees overhead. She straightens cereal boxes, remembering how her kids begged for the sugary ones on Saturday mornings. A young mom comes through with a cart of diapers and formula, and Margaret chats warmly. "Hang in there, honey. It gets easier, and those little ones grow up so fast." But inside, there's a pang, nostalgia mixed with sadness, because she should be spoiling grandkids, not worrying about her next paycheck. As the day goes on, the aches creep in. Her knees protest from bending to reach low shelves, and her back echoes years in the classroom. Lunch is a quick sandwich in the break room, flipping through a magazine about beaches she'll never visit. Afternoons bring the rush, parents grabbing dinner fixings, teens buying energy drinks. A regular, an old vet named Bill, stops to talk about the weather or the local baseball team. "You're a trooper, Margaret," he says. "This country's lucky to have folks like you." Those moments lift her, reminding her she's not invisible. But the lows hit hard. Seeing families load up on vacation snacks, she thinks of the road trips Tom promised. Opening her check, she debates fixing a leaky faucet or buying new glasses. Why, after a lifetime of paying into the system, is this her reward? So many seniors face this: rising costs, medical bills that devour savings, pensions lost to corporate shifts. In America, where we're told to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, too many are working again just to survive. Studies show the number of people over 65 still working has risen over 30% in the last decade, driven by financial need, not choice. Social Security often falls short, especially with longer lifespans, and 80% of older adults are struggling or at risk in retirement. It's a heartbreaking truth in the land of opportunity. Yet Margaret finds hope. On days off, she joins a knitting group at the community center, sharing tea and stories of drive-in movies, 4th of July barbecues, and Motown dances. Her daughter calls every Sunday, urging a move to Florida, but Margaret's roots are here. "This is where my memories are," she says. In quiet moments, she prays for strength, a faith that's carried her through. As the sun sets, she clocks out, feet throbbing but spirit unbroken, driving home under a sky of pinks and oranges. Dinner is leftover chili and a sitcom rerun. It's not the retirement she dreamed of, but she's making it work, one day at a time. Her resilience holds a lesson. America's seniors built this nation, but too often they're left to fend for themselves. With concerns about Social Security cuts and an aging population, we must advocate for better benefits, affordable health care, and support for those who gave so much. Margaret's story echoes across America, from New York to Iowa to California's coasts. It's the silent tears of our elders. If we listen, if we care, we can change it. Reach out to your grandparents or neighbors, offer a hand, a smile, a kind word. Because because America's strength lies in how we treat our own. Thanks for hearing this tale from the heartland. If it moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Take care, folks.